Hey guys, so it's time for the review for last night's Smackdown Live, so I have quite a bit to say, so let's just jump right into it. Um, so first, the New Day came out, and they were, happy themselves, all that, but then they got to the ring, and Xavier asked if they could be serious for a minute, and asked if they could have a serious moment. And then Big E started talking about, like, they had been through some stuff, and that they had traveled the road together, and that we all watched as they went from New Day sucks to New Day rocks, um, and then he says that he and Xavier have discussed walking away because of all the obstacles that were put into their way, because of everything that's been happening to Kofi, and how unfair that is, and how like in Xavier's words, how the hardest thing for them has been watching how Kofi, not just themselves, but mainly Kofi, has been treated, not just in the past few weeks, but in the whole 11 years alone. How hard he's worked, and how no matter what he does, it seems to never be good enough for Vince, and that they're just so. They have decisions to make. They don't know what to do. All they know is that they keep watching Kofi try again and again, and they keep being screwed over and over, and they don't know what else to do, and so it's just very stressful. And then Big E says the only thing is Kofi doesn't know the word quit, or that he refuses to say the word quit. He just doesn't quit. Never complains, always does what he's told all the time, is like the mere positivity, wants to remain positive. And I remember from that there was a video after what happened last week where Big E and Xavier were contemplating quitting, and Kofi's like, we can't quit now. It's like, we've come this far, we can't quit now, but I do want to get out of here, because he was like beat up from the gauntlet match. And so like when that reminded me, Big E saying that like Kofi didn't know the meaning of the word quit, or doesn't know quit, or how to quit. It was like, because even Kofi said last week that even though what happened was wrong, that he still doesn't want to quit. And then Xavier said that they want answers, and they need to make a decision. But before they can do that, they have to get answers from the one guy who keeps trying to make Kofi's life miserable. That's Vince. So Vince comes out. He's about to say something to Kofi, but Daniel Bryan automatically comes out, and he tells Vince like not to listen to them, and that if the New Day wants to quit, just let him quit. He tells Vince that he can just, if he wants, he can get 3 other guys from NXT and call them like the New Afternoon. He says that they can throw waffles into the crowd instead of like pancakes and stuff. And Vince tries to say something again, and then Daniel is like, don't listen to them, don't listen to the parasites, talking to the crowd. And he says that Vince is right about Kofi being a B-plus player. And he says that Vince is right, and the people, again meaning the crowd and everyone in the WWE Universe, are wrong. And then he says that just like Kofi, the people are afraid to face reality. That he's nothing but a B-plus player who shouldn't be at WrestleMania fighting for his title. And Xavier takes offense to this and says that Daniel has turned into a hypocrite, because everything Daniel's doing right now is everything that just a few years ago he was fighting against. I mean, he's doing everything that he wanted to avoid. And so just hearing that was like, true. I've seen the video clips on YouTube. I've seen some of the stuff that happened. Like, it's totally true. So he calls Daniel a hypocrite. And then Daniel's about to say something else, but Vince tells him to shut up. And then he starts walking over to New Day, and he keeps like kind of egging him on, like, you want to quit? Quit. Just quit. And then he goes, you're not going to quit. You're never going to quit. And then he says that he knows that Kofi has no more chances. That Kofi will always be a B plus player to him and all that stuff. But he says the only thing is the New Day as a team, like, are Xavier and Big E B plus players too? B plus players too. Are they B plus? So he says Kofi doesn't have another shot. But Xavier and Big E, you two, if you fight in a gauntlet tag team match tonight against different tag teams, if you win at the end, Kofi goes to WrestleMania. I mean, he's going to fight Daniel Bryan for the title if they do this. And Kofi's looking at them, and Big E and Xavier are automatically like, yeah, we're doing this. And so they automatically agree to it because, like, they love Kofi. They'll do anything for him. And so they get that match, and Daniel Bryan is on the ramp, not happy at all with this. For me, my favorite thing about this segment was, like, just how Kofi, like, doesn't really say very much. Like, hardly said anything at all, really. And it's just kind of, it's like Big E and Xavier doing most of the talking, where it's like they're just advocating. First they advocate their team and advocate everybody, and then they're mainly like, but Kofi is getting the short end of the stick here, and that's wrong. And just brothers united, and then they end where it's like Xavier and Big E are going to do anything they can to get Kofi that spot. Like, I remember that contract signed a few weeks ago, Kevin Owens came out. And Xavier's like, this is wrong. Big E even said, we are going to get you that title back. We're going to get you that spot WrestleMania back. You are going to fight for the title. That's going to happen. We're going to get you there. And this, if they win, it's going to get Kofi to WrestleMania. And so I was excited. So overall, I really did enjoy that segment very much. And also, before I continue, I want to say thank God Lacey Evans made no random appearance for no reason whatsoever. I don't remember if she did Monday night either. But she didn't tonight. Or, like, last night, actually. So it's like, thank God. But next, Becky Lynch is interviewed. And she's asked about, first, they congratulate her on, I don't know who this interviewer is, but she congratulates Becky on her run and Charlotte main eventing WrestleMania with a triple threat match. And Becky thanks her, but then she's like, I bring the people, Ronda brings the championship, but what does Charlotte bring to this? She's like the third wheel. What does she bring to it? And before Becky can say anything else, Charlotte's music plays. Obviously means she's gonna go out to the ring. So Becky's just kind of like smiling weirdly or something. I can't say much to that because not really anything happened. But then they cut to the ramp and Charlotte's walking down, like dressed to compete, and she has a microphone and she just says, "You think I'm a third wheel? I will show you all why I'm meant for this match." So she walks down the ramp, and then I hope you don't hear the loudness that's going on out there. I hope you don't hear what's going on out there. Anyway, so they go to commercial, and they come back, and Asuka makes her entrance, and I'm like, wait, what? What's happening? But I'm so excited, though, because I'm, like, Asuka maniac, so I'm, like, freaking out, very happy, automatically. And then I realized they haven't rung the bell or anything. The ring announcer and the ref is in there, but they haven't rung the bell. The ring announcer's not introducing anyone, and it's, like, confusing me. I'm like, what's going on here? So Asuka goes down and stuff, and I'm very happy. And then they say that it's a Women's Smackdown Championship match. Smackdown Women's Championship match. I'm like, what? And so I'm watching this match, and they put on a killer match. Like, they put on an awesome match. It's like, I feel like it would have been match of the night if it wasn't for the gauntlet match. But there's so much, like, Spanish fly off the ropes. Asuka got her Asuka lock at one point. Like, toward the beginning, Charlotte kept trying to get in the figure eight, and Asuka kept kicking her off. And it was like, so much stuff was going on. And I was just so into it. But early on in the match, Charlotte was attacking Asuka's left knee, just going after it over and over again. And the first thought I had when they said it was SmackDown Women's Championship match, I was just like, Asuka, please don't tap, just roll over, because sometimes you can roll over to reverse the pressure. And so I was just really like, please don't tap, please just roll over. So they go on for about 18 minutes with a couple commercial breaks. It is awesome. And then Charlotte got the figure 8. Asuka screamed in pain. And she tried to hang on, but she couldn't. And so after a good 5-10 seconds, she tapped. And I smile because I'm so confused. This is not like happiness at all. I am so confused. I'm like mad and confused, and I don't know how to feel about this. So we're going to talk about this. Charlotte is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And she's in a match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. So I'm so confused. It's like, what? What? I don't know what this means. I'm so confused. It's like, what? So I know that next Monday night on Raw that Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda have to coexist together in a 6-woman tag against the Riot Squad. And I know that if either Becky, Charlotte, or Ronda touches each other, then whoever does that is out of the match at WrestleMania. So I have a feeling that Charlotte might be the one to take herself out of that match. I feel like she might put her hands on Becky and Ronda, and if she does this, it gets her out of the match. That, or Asuka could maybe snap and show up at Raw and throw out the match for them by just attacking everyone, and then maybe gets added to the WrestleMania match or something. I don't know. Or maybe she challenges Charlotte for a match at WrestleMania. Who knows? Maybe Charlotte drops out of the match and challenges Asuka for a match at WrestleMania. I don't know. All I know is Asuka, she should not have lost the title. But one of the main reasons why they had to have done this is because you can't have Fatal 4-Way in a gauntlet match, according to them. You can't replace Charlotte versus Asuka with the Fatal 4-Way between Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Naomi, and Carmella. So obviously you gotta do this instead. But it bugs me that Asuka's not champion anymore, but I think she's gonna win it again. Or at least end up chasing for if they unify the titles and make it just a one championship. I don't know what's going on, but I hope Asuka still plays a part in WrestleMania, and I hope that something goes on during the go-home shows next week. That's all I can really say about that. Next thing I can say is, when Charlotte was making her way up the ring, she nodded, gave a respectful nod to Asuka, and Asuka seemed to, just nod back at her. Charlotte went up the ramp, but then Kurt Angle just comes out. And because he's about to have his match against AJ. This is his final match on SmackDown Live. It's going to be against AJ. So then they go to break. We come back and AJ is being interviewed. And he says that, he appreciates everything Kurt Angle has done. And he considers it an honor to be able to fight him for his last match at SmackDown Live. And he even says that Kurt Angle, but this isn't a cakewalk. He's not going to take it lightly. This is an exhibition match. He's going to put his all into this. AJ says that even though Kurt laid down the foundation, that SmackDown Live is still the house that AJ Styles built. And then his music played, and Kurt Angle and AJ Styles start their match. Actually, it's really cute. They started with a hug and stuff. Very nice. But then AJ goes immediately for the calf crusher. And then Kurt turns that into an ankle lock. And transitions into the ankle lock from that. And then as soon as they stand up, it's not even a couple minutes later, Randy just runs and RKO's AJ Styles. So AJ wins by disqualification because of that. Great. not great, annoying. Kurt Angle isn't happy about this, so he gives Randy Orton an angle slam. And then he helps AJ up and they hug and stuff. Not really much I can say about this either because it was really, really short. But they did Kurt Angle wrong with that. That's just sad. Like, why would you? Okay, I'm just gonna continue here. Next is an interview that I guess happened on WWE.com. And Rey Mysterio is interviewed with son Dominic, but he lets Dominic talk, and Dominic says that Samoa Joe, unlike Kofi Kingston, only cares about himself, and he says that Rey is going to teach him a lesson when he beats him for the United States Championship at WrestleMania. And I'm interested to see how this goes, actually. I'm, like, very interested. And then The Miz comes out and heads to the ring because he has a WrestleMania proposition for Shane. Then it goes to commercial. Come back, The Miz is in the ring and he agrees when everyone's calling him awesome. He's basically just talking about how angry he is at Shane for what Shane did to him and his dad, and saying that he just wants to rip Shane apart limb for limb, and he wants everyone at MetLife Stadium to see it. So he makes a proposition of let the match be a Falls Count Anywhere match. And Miz starts to continue talking, but then Shane comes out, only it's not Shane. It's a whole bunch of security, and then it's one of the Primo brothers, Shelton Benjamin, and Sanity. And then Shane comes out, and Shane says that all of this is for Miz's safety, not his. And Shane just starts talking about how good it felt to, beat up Miz and, like, put his hands on Miz's dad. And then he says that he downloaded multiple angles on his phone, and it's euphoric for him, and he wants to be able to relive that joy. So at WrestleMania, he will accept the stipulation of Falls Count Anywhere match. Only, he says that the only regret he has is that he didn't do anything else to Mrs. Father. And then he says that Mrs. Father's mistake was that he had, impregnated Mrs. Mom. Okay. This infuriated Miz, so he immediately got out of the ring and started attacking security guards. So when the Primo brothers, which one it was out there, and so Miz, beat him up, and then Shelton Benjamin started, and so Miz got to him, and then Sanity started, 3-on-1, started to be a little bit much for Miz, but then they got near the crowd, and then Miz threw 2 out of 3 members of Sandy over the barricade into the crowd, and he started rumbling with Eric, and then he started going into the crowd and fighting with the other 2 members, and then after that was done, he was standing tall, he started to walk back to leave. That was interesting. And Miz, yeah. Shane had been watching, but he left. And this whole segment, I had no problem with it. I love seeing Shane want to kill. I mean, no, not Shane. Miz wanting to kill Shane. I enjoy that, and I like the stipulation, even though I hope Shane doesn't, hurt himself at WrestleMania this year, but he probably will. A little nervous for that, but other than that, okay. Now let's move on here. There's a recap from Moment of Bliss from Raw, where, Cullen was just completely stupid and ended up infuriating Braun so much that Braun told him to enter the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and how, Michael accepted, said, Colin would be in it, and then Colin said that Michael would be in it too, and then Alexa made it official, and, so it's the only people we know who are in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal are Braun Strowman, Colin Jost, and and Michael Che, or the two guys from Saturday Night Live. And not much to say except for, okay. And then Xavier and Big E come out to take part of the tag team gauntlet because they're fighting to get Kofi's match against Daniel at WrestleMania. Then they go to break, they come back, and the Iconics have a video message where they are so happy because they are going to WrestleMania to fight Nia Jax, Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and Sasha Banks and Bayley for the Women's Tag Team Championships in a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Yay! Not much to say, they were just overly excited and it kind of made me laugh. Okay, and then Xavier Woods and Big E went against the Good Brothers. It was about a good minute. You look in the back, and Becky Lynch and the Hardy Boys and Kofi were there, like, rooting on Xavier and Big E. Xavier and Big E eliminate the Good Brothers with Up, Down, Down, Carl Anderson. Then they keep showing periodically the people in the back, and Asuka's there. Asuka's there, Naomi's there, Nikki Cross, Carmella, the Usos, almost every face, Ray, everyone is there, like, just cheering on. At one point, Naomi and Asuka just hugged, and it was cute. Like, okay. But, so everyone's there cheering them on. And then, so here's the order of the things. Xavier and Big E eliminated the Good Brothers with the Up, Down, Carl Anderson. And then Xavier and Big E went against Shinsuke, Nakamura, and Rusev, which was back and forth for a little while, but then they won with Up, Down, Down again onto Shinsuke. And then the Bar came out, and they had like a really cool match, except Xavier and Big E eliminated the Bar with a roll-up on Sheamus. Only this upset Sheamus, so he attacked Big E. Cesaro grabbed a table, and then they picked up Big E and powerbombed through the table. So as Xavier is trying to check on Big E and move the table parts out of the way, the Usos come out, and it looks like they're ready to fight. But then Jay grabs the mic and gives a 9-1 to Jimmy, and is like, and Jay says it's like, Kofi, we've been up and down with the New Day for a long time, and we know that Kofi deserves to go to WrestleMania. And that you two are fighting your hearts out and stuff, basically just talking about how the New Day, Xavier and Big E, are fighting to get Kofi to his dream, and Jay's like, we know that Kofi deserves to go to WrestleMania. And then Jimmy goes, Kofi already has all of our respect. Has the people's respect, everyone in the back's respect. He has our respect. And he says, good luck, Oos. And then he goes, because we forfeit. And I did not see that coming. The fact that they forfeit. So Xavier and Big E win that because there was never a match because the Usos forfeited. Only it said that they need to fight one more tag team. And since Daniel Bryan and Rowan were in the back, they were in a major fit because the Usos weren't going to be part of dashing Kofi's hopes. Daniel and Bryan and Rowan ended up being out there. They were throwing chairs in the backstage area. It was weird. So, however, Daniel Bryan and Rowan go out and they have an awesome match, but the ending is cool. Daniel Bryan tries to take control, but Xavier throws him out, gets rid of him. Big E tosses Rowan over the announce table, and then lifts it up and just towers it over him, pushes it over him. And then he and Xavier get in the ring, and there's a 10 count. Rowan does not even budge from underneath the table. And Xavier and Big E win the gauntlet, and they get Kofi his spot. Everyone in the back goes crazy. And Kofi comes out, and he's hugging, and they're all celebrating together. And then everyone comes out from the back. Even though I think Asuka was out there too, but I didn't see her. I didn't see Naomi either. I just saw Becky. but and some of the guys were like the Hardys, but everyone came out to like celebrate and were around the ring clapping and stuff, and it was just awesome moment. Um, Vince's interview backstage where like the interviewer, I think it was Kayla, but I forgot. But she's like, but whoever it is, she's like, Kofi just Big E and Xavier just won that gauntlet match, so is Kofi going to WrestleMania? And Vince says, yes. I just hope that a B plus player can become champion at WrestleMania. And it's like, and then he leaves. But then they show again the entire locker room coming down, cheering and stuff, and as it goes off the air. So overall, that was awesome. Enjoyed seeing everyone just so supportive of them and just Kofi's happiness. And he's going to WrestleMania. He's fighting Daniel Bryan. And unless something sketchy happens next week, which I hope doesn't happen, I just hope he gets to go and have this match. That is amazing. I will see you in a little while for the NXT live reaction, which I will film, and then they'll be up by hopefully 10 or 11 tonight, if not tomorrow. And yeah, so I will see you in a little bit. Hi.